A digital image sold for $69 million. A handbag can sell for more than a Ferrari. A pair of sneakers can cost more than a house. Why? What makes a simple item irresistible just because it's hard to find? We chase these objects not only for their utility, but because scarcity turns them into treasures in our eyes. In a world overflowing with choices, the rarest things demand the most attention, fueling greed, envy, and even obsession. Today we explore why the mere absence of supply transforms ordinary goods into gold, touching everything from auctions to online hype. Scarcity isn't a new idea. It's baked into economics. When demand outstrips supply, prices rise. But beyond balance sheets and supply chains, scarcity taps into deep human wiring. It fires our instincts. We yearn to belong, to feel special, to own a piece of something unique. In global markets today, companies exploit this. Limited drops of sneakers, one-of-a-kind NFTs, exclusive club memberships. But the real story begins before the price tag. It begins with the feeling that someone else might get it before you do. Across cultures and generations, rarity creates value. As we'll see, this isn't just about products, it's about the stories we tell ourselves and the identities we build around owning them. Since ancient trade routes, humans have coveted rare objects. Think of the Silk Road's spices or Cleopatra's pearls. Their scarcity made them status symbols. Centuries later, private collectors amassed Fabergé eggs and first edition books. During wars and crises, everyday goods became precious. Rationed food and fuel showed that scarcity makes any commodity feel vital. Fast forward to the modern era, post-Wheatie boom gave way to mass production, but human nature didn't change. Children hoarded stamps, coins, or baseball cards with the same passion. A dusty attic comic or a 1914 Babe Ruth baseball card might have meant little to the rest of the world until collectors realized they were one of a kind. Suddenly, a childhood toy could be worth a fortune. The object did not change. The story around it did. Even today, a rookie card or a bottle of vintage wine can fetch millions at auction, with prices transparently shaped by supply, demand, and emotional attachment. Then brands seized on this fascination. In the 1980s and 90s, toys and sneakers started selling out on purpose. Michael Jordan's first Air Jordans were produced in tiny numbers. People lined up overnight. By the 2000s, streetwear labels like Supreme and luxury houses like Hermès turned scarcity into a strategy. A Supreme hoodie was no longer just clothing. A Birkin bag was no longer just a handbag. They became proof that you had access, timing, money, or status that others did not. And with the internet, scarcity went digital. NFTs turned images and tweets into rare artifacts overnight. In each era, what remains the same is our response. Limited goods stir a rush of excitement and desire. Picture a shopper staring at a screen, only one left in stock. The product may have been ordinary 5 seconds ago, but now suddenly it feels urgent. Why do we value rare things so much? Psychology and economics give us clues. The scarcity effect is powerful. When an item is scarce, our brains tag it as more desirable. When something is hard to get, it automatically feels more valuable. This taps into basic biases. We hate losing, we fear missing out, and we often assume rare equals good. A scarcity label or a countdown timer triggers instant FOMO, the fear of missing out, so we dash to buy before it's gone. FOMO is the social side of the story. Seeing friends or influencers flaunt exclusive items makes us panic. If they have it and I don't, what does that say about me? Marketing exploits this. Limited edition sneakers, secret sale codes, countdown timers, all these tools force us to act on impulse. Brands like Supreme schedule surprise weekly drops that sell out in minutes, fueling a frenzy where resale prices often jump far above the original. Even high-end tech followed the same emotional pattern. Remember the PS5 shortage? It wasn't only about manufacturing delays, it became a cultural chase. People refreshing websites, joining waiting lists, and celebrating online the moment they finally got one. In effect, created scarcity hijacks our instincts. Split-second buying replaces calm shopping. Beyond fear and loss, social status and identity loom large. Collecting becomes a way to define ourselves. This is why a Hermès Birkin is such a powerful example. The bag is expensive, yes, but the bigger attraction is the gatekeeping around it. Not everyone can simply walk in and buy one. That difficulty becomes part of the product. A Birkin bag, a champion wine, or a rare NFT isn't just an item, it's a symbol that you're someone who belongs to an exclusive club. Limited goods confer prestige. In other words, difficulty of purchase becomes part of the appeal. If buying is a challenge, owning means more. The same pattern appeared in the NFT boom. A digital file could be copied endlessly, but ownership of the original token was marketed as rare, permanent, and exclusive. For some buyers, it was art. For others, it was status. For many, it was the hope that scarcity itself would turn into profit. Nostalgia and emotion also steer spending. We often crave items that connect us to happier times. Think vinyl records, retro video games, or re-released vintage toys. These don't just trade on rarity, but on the warm glow of the past. A sports card is not only cardboard. A vintage game is not only plastic. For the buyer, it can feel like a small piece of childhood brought back to life. For many, collecting is partly about feeling rather than just owning. It's a coping mechanism, a way to hold on to identity and connection. On the macro level, markets amplify all this. When inflows surge into niche assets, prices can skyrocket and sometimes collapse. Sports cards were a major example. Prices surged during the hype cycle, then cooled sharply afterwards. NFTs too went wild, then many collapsed in value. These swings aren't random. They show what happens when scarcity meets hype, speculation, and social pressure all at once. People buy into the chase for quick gains or bragging rights, pushing prices up until reality sets in. In short, scarcity combined with hype creates a volatile market. One year it's a jackpot, the next it's a crash. Here's the turning point. Scarcity is about much more than limited editions. It's about meaning. We've learned that what's rare can stand as a counterweight to uncertainty. When the world feels unstable, people often search for something that feels fixed. A limited watch, a rare card, a signed artwork, a collectible that cannot easily be replaced. The insight is that scarcity itself has become its own economy. It's one of the few things people trust in uncertain times. Owning a limited print painting, a rare sneaker, or an unforgeable NFT can offer a feeling that ordinary mass-produced goods cannot. Scarcity becomes a strategy of resilience, not just a way to store wealth, but a way to feel secure. Ultimately, the chase is a reflection of human nature. We fear missing out, we crave belonging, and we yearn to leave a trace. Scarcity puts a spotlight on those impulses. The realization is profound. Our pursuit of rare things tells us more about ourselves than about the items themselves. It reveals our anxieties, our desire for status, and our search for meaning in an unpredictable world. Scarcity is both a timeless law and a modern illusion. It can inspire awe or drive obsession. Next time you find yourself refreshing a sold-out page or bidding your heart out at an auction, ask yourself, is it the object I truly want or the story it represents? Are we seeking the good itself or the idea that we're part of something scarce and special? In the end, perhaps what's truly scarce isn't the product. It's the sense of value and identity we project onto it. So if everything scarce commands a premium, what is the one thing we value most that truly can't be manufactured or sold? The answer may lie in what scarcity tells us about who we really are.